Welcome, everyone. Here we are at the Community Virtual Library podcast station. And today we're going to be talking with Puglet Dancer, who is Barbara Galik. And she was instrumental in starting the first academic library in a virtual world. So, Puglet, can you tell us a little bit about your background and your early memories of being a virtual world librarian?
And once I got in Second Life and saw what was possible, um, I got some people at Bradley to be interested in coming in by buying them making sure they got a new computer to be able to do this. Um, and so I had about 4 people come in with me, and we had a couple of faculty members who were in Second Life at that time. One was Professor Bellevue, who used to sing and play in Second Life as well as teach in Second Life. We also had an art faculty member come in, and the one who stayed the longest was forgot her real life name, her Second Life name escapes me. Petra Santis, and she used Second Life. Petra DeSantis, sorry. She used Second Life for her English classes, for argumentative writing. And I would teach her classes every semester, show them how to come in, various things that they could do and how they could do them. And they would explore Second Life and write an argumentative paper on the positive uses of Second Life in education. And she taught that from the time we came into Second Life until not this past semester, but the previous semester. So she was in a very long time and kept bringing classes in. So Second Life continued very active on campus because of her, but only in that class. And we did try at one point, there was a committee that was formed, a campus committee, to see whether or not we wanted to expand our purpose, our stuff in Second Life. And I got a bootleg copy of the report from the chair of the committee, um, who basically they had decided, yes, they wanted that we should continue exploring the uses of it, but the administration decided against it. So that basically ended a lot of the expansion of Bradley in Second Life because it was no longer being supported by the administration. So, but that's how Bradley came into Second Life. It's kind of choppy, I know, because I just got back from the eye doctor. So,
Oh, no
still
problem
trying
at
to get
all.
my
But
mind into Second Life.
right, no problem. I wanted to ask you a question about, you mentioned that a person who was really instrumental in getting you started, and I've heard this from others, is Lori Bell. And now, how
Yes.
did you know Lori Bell?
I met Loy Bell because Bradley University was part of the Alliance Library System. And I was on the board of the Alliance Library System for several years. And that's how I got to know Loy. And she, as as all of you probably know, was a real gung-ho supporter of Second Life. And I can remember when she first got in, uh, I used to ride with them because Peoria is very close to where the Alliance Library System was located, so it was just I would drive over there and I'd ride with them to all the meetings. It saved on gas and it saved on a lot of things. So I would ride with them, and she would talk about it almost the entire time that we were on the road to wherever we was going, and kept trying to nudge me to get in there, to get in there. And she finally did get me in there, but I stayed on Help Island for for a relatively long time. I just didn't want to get off. I was a little bit leery, a little bit afraid, and she TP'd me off. Um, Lori has to be one of the biggest proponents of education and libraries in Second Life that I have ever met, and all of you are proponents of it. But she had this, how do I describe it? This passion to do something different all the time. And this was a perfect place for her. And she did tons of things, and she got a lot of people involved in it, because she would talk it up in real life. And she would talk about the things that you could do and the things that were possible that weren't possible in real life.
R-
So,
Absolutely. And we were speaking earlier about with relationships with people in the
mhm.
virtual world being as real as
Oh yeah.
relationships in the physical world. You found that to be true?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, my Second Life friends are my real life friends as well. I mean, I've met some in real life. I've met several of the librarians in real life. Um, but I've also met other people in real life from Second Life. They are as dear to me as my real life friends, because it's part of what Second Life is to you and becomes to you. It's it's a big chat room, only you have avatars in it. You can meet people from all over the world, which is very exciting for me since I was a language major. And it's the people I've met in here are very dear friends. I'd be lost without them. It's weird, but it's very true.
Do you feel that sense of presence that you get because you have an avatar, you're embodied in an avatar, do you think
Mhm.
that is important to the way those relationships seem so real?
Yes, because you're actually seeing an image. You're not talking to somebody in a chat room where where you don't see them unless you have a video camera on. But these are real people that you do things with. It's not just that you're talking to them. You go dancing with them. You have parties. I mean, when I retired, which was just recently, um, one of my friends in Second Life, another person that Lori Bell got in, who is not in part of the library world though, she had a retirement party for me. And I couldn't have a retirement party in real life because of COVID. I literally, couldn't, you know, I couldn't do it. They did do a video retirement party for me where I was sitting in my office and everybody else was on their computers. And they had set up a video station in part of the library so people in the library could see what was going on, but I never left my office. So it was a video thing. And I could see pictures, but it wasn't the same as talking to avatars. It's a different thing altogether. It's just very, very hard to explain to somebody who hasn't been in here and hasn't experienced it. Um, they're these have become very dear friends of mine. That's all, it's and
Yes,
I don't know what else I can add to that.
right. You've articulated well how real it feels when you know
It's yes.
somebody on this kind of a deep level,
Yeah.
and both personally as well as professionally. You have personal friends
Yes.
here, and
Mhm.
you used this world for your profession. It sounds like you
Oh,
did a lot of teaching.
oh yeah.
With that,
Hmm.
what kind of did you have any obstacles that you had to overcome? With being able to use this as a platform for teaching.
Well, the thing is what I did is I taught in our instruction room, and I would bring the students into Second Life in the instruction room. So I was there physically with them, and then I was there in world with them. And before I would go in and before we even create their avatars, I would literally talk to them about Second Life and what the purpose of Second Life was and what you could do in Second Life and how it kind of leveled the playing field for people who are handicapped, except, obviously even for the deaf, because people still chat and text. It leveled the playing field for some people. People who couldn't hear could converse. People who were in wheelchairs could walk around. The blind are the only ones that really couldn't do anything with it. But for other people who had um, disabilities, this was a godsend for them. I remember talking to a friend of mine, two friends. One of them, I told this story to the students when I would teach them, is one of my friends is um, is deaf in real life. And when Voice came out, she's a brilliant builder, wonderful woman. When it came out, when Second Life came out with Voice, she was so afraid everybody was going to use Voice, and then to quote her, she would be the dumb girl in the corner again, which is a very sad statement on what she felt in real life and the change that Second Life made for her. So that was one example I give. The other example I give is a friend of mine in Australia who is a quadriplegic because of a diving accident. And in Second Life, he does Second Life with a stick within his mouth. That's why he would do Second Life before we could use voice. And to him, it was a way for him to express himself when he couldn't do it in real life. He couldn't express himself in real life except he couldn't hear. Was he the blind? No, he was the blind. I keep getting confused. But he was in. He would draw pictures in Second Life. He did it. He was an artist in Second Life because he couldn't do it in real life because he was in a chair. He couldn't dance in Second Life. In Second Life, he could. In Second Life, he could dance. He couldn't dance in real life. All the movement he had was a stick in his mouth. And think of what a world that opened up for him, having a situation like this that he could do what people were doing around him that he couldn't do. Um, so he was another friend that I made in here. So there are just so many advantages in here. Uh, and the one person I mentioned who used it for teaching, she who just quit using it, is that she the she what was I going to say? She found that the students would explore a little bit more. They would open up a little bit more in here. So,
Yes, you've mentioned a lot about that accessibility being such an advantage here for people who have maybe physical disabilities,
right.
and a lot of these advantages that you're talking about are, they're really global. They're things that can help
Hmm.
people connect everywhere. It's cost
Yep.
effective. How do you feel
Hmm.
then about the future of virtual worlds? Do you think this is a platform that is here to stay?
I hope so. I really hope so because I think it offers a lot that nothing else offers. I mean, sure, Sansar failed. That didn't work out. I don't know of anything else that is doing something similar to this. And I find it to be, especially when you look at right now during COVID, we're all stuck in our homes. No matter where we live in the world, we're stuck, you know, and we're mask wearing, we can't, various limits on what we can do. Here, we can, we can be free and we can do what we want. And one of the things I've noticed recently is that more people are signing on to Second Life. I'm seeing a lot of people who are 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old, very young avatars. They don't look young because because the avatar has developed in such a way since we first came in. I look at my old pictures and go, yeah, they've developed so much, but you can't tell by looking at them that they're new. It's only when you click on their profiles that you can see that they're 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old, couple months old. So, this is a perfect place for people who want to have contact with people but can't leave their house.
So it sounds like, although you've retired from your physical world job, you still plan to spend time in the virtual
Oh,
world.
oh, definitely. I've spent time in Second Life. Bradley stopped using Second Life quite, except for the one person a while ago. I've been active in Second Life ever since. I do have an alt that is more active than Puglet right now. Um, and she's on every day. Um, she does everything she wants to do in here. She has her friends from around the world that she can talk to. Um, she could keep track of what's going on across the United States because I have friends across the United States. Um, and it's my alt is friends with several people, several of the librarians. I believe you're a friend of mine as my alt, but um, it's I to imagine to try going through what we've going through without Second Life to me would be extremely difficult. It's for me, it's very positive that I can come in here, I can see people, I can talk to people, I can go places that I can't do in real life.
It's wonderful how you've shared that with us. And you know that you were at Bradley University from the very beginning of CVL, back when it was Alliance
Yes.
Library System. And then
Yes.
Bradley was very instrumental in helping the community virtual library survive because,
Hmm.
we had that mass exit of a lot of people when there was
Yes.
financial issues with
Yeah.
Second Life. And
Mm.
Bradley hosted the community virtual library for a number of years.
Yes.
We would
Hmm.
not have
Yeah.
survived.
Yeah. Well, I really believed in it, and I still believe in it, and I think several of the faculty believed in it. I still see a couple of the faculty members in there regularly, um, but they're just not teaching in there now, and it's a shame because this would be a perfect place to teach right now during COVID. It would be perfect,
Right,
and
right.
but
Do you
it's
still
such a
feel,
big learning term.
yeah, exactly. Part of the reason why not is there's that, steep learning curve. We've heard about
Yeah,
it for years and it's
yeah.
it's still there. But it is, you've really made the case for those
Hmm.
advantages outweighing that steep learning curve.
Yeah.
And I've heard from, we recently interviewed Abby, who was one of the
Hmm.
early founders, and she
Yep.
reminded us that the Community Virtual Library will have a 15th anniversary soon. I cannot
Yeah.
believe 15 years have passed.
15 years. Yep.
Yeah, since you all
Yeah.
began. And I hope you'll be able to come to that celebration. I think
I am.
Abby's planning it.
Okay. I'm 14 years, 5 months old. So
Wow.
I came in a long time ago.
Yes. Yes, and I'm just thankful that so many people had that vision, and some have still wanted to persevere and hang on to it to, to see where libraries are headed in the future with all of the different innovations that are available now. And do you feel positive about the future that we will be able to utilize these kind of tools for as they evolve and change?
I am really hoping that we will. It's to me, it's a shame that there are not that all the universities left Second Life. A lot of the universities, I shouldn't say all, but at one point we had so many universities in here. The Sistine Chapel was gorgeous. Um, some of the builds in here were absolutely fabulous, and it's a shame that most of those have disappeared. Um, and I'm sure it was a lot of problem with the finances at that time, and paying for something that is virtual versus something that's real, is a hard sell. Which is kind of what killed it at Bradley. It's at that point we weren't in a COVID situation. Everything was very little was online. I just wish that, and I hope that people can, newer people coming into Second Life can convince their administrations, you know, to try it out. There's so much you can do and experience in here without without having to go anywhere to travel. Um, it's the perfect place to do these things. You can go walk in Red Square. Um, which I've done. It's just there's so many fabulous builds in here that would be useful.
Yes, I totally agree. And I know some people have brought up the fact that another reason a lot of educators have not, and administrators and higher education has not really gotten active in virtual worlds like this is because of the rise in mobile apps and mobile devices and so many online learning platforms. There are just
Right.
too many tools out there.
Yeah, there are way too many tools and too many tools for people to learn because everybody uses something different.
Right.
Um, and if I were a younger librarian, um, I would probably fight for this. I would fight for this. This program here as a positive way of doing it. But you need to get some of the younger I don't know, I've not been in it very much as a librarian lately, but I don't know how many of the younger librarians are here.
Yes, we do have a few young MLS graduates who are now on our CVL board, and they
Good.
totally believe in this as a way for libraries to utilize new technology. And we are still part of the American Library Association. We're
Yeah.
considering a name change from the ACRL Virtual World Interest Group because, virtual reality now has such a buzz
Yeah.
to it, and extended reality, all the multiple realities. And we want
Right.
people to realize that this is virtual reality. It's just without that cumbersome headset.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I think getting those younger librarians in is key, but also valuing the history of this space. And I hope you know that you were so valuable to have paved the way. And
Oh,
thank you for
thank you.
coming in to share that
Oh,
journey with us at
well,
our
it's
podcast.
Well, it's been an amazing journey. I mean, from the time I came in when I could barely walk, would always stumble over everything, and to now when I can, I can do almost anything I want to do in here. It's been an amazing learning experience for me, and for anybody who comes in here. You learn a whole different system, how to do things. Um, it's I would encourage more like young librarians to come in and try it out, because if we don't have enough of them, we're not going to be able to make um, a, um, a difference with it. Uh, Second Life was one of the first virtual worlds out there. So it was relatively new and people were excited about it. Now that there's so many different things out there, we have to try to show what's different about Second Life and what makes Second Life better than Second
Abs-
Choices.
Absolutely. Thanks again for this wonderful interview. And
Oh,
I hope we'll see more of you here in Second Life Puglet.
okay. Thank you. Well,
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me, and sorry again for being late and stumbling for a while.
Oh no, that's part of virtual worlds. We just have to muddle through, and it's been a pleasure. Thanks again.
Yes, thank